Okay, so now we're going to look at an example of an actual transcript. We're going to show you guys what is most important to pay attention to on your transcript and explain what this document looks like. And keep in mind, this is the official document that colleges will want to see, employers might ask for this, any post-secondary institution or opportunity that you are pursuing, this is the official academic record that they will want to look at. So your transcript includes every final grade you've ever earned throughout high school. Keep in mind these are semester grades. It includes every final grade you've ever earned, some demographic information about you, and your progress towards graduation requirements. So we're going to go through this together. I'm going to show you guys what's most important to note on the transcript. And again, it's kind of cool because this is an actual transcript from a graduate in last year's senior class who actually is at Western Washington now as a freshman. So we'll go through this together. If you look at this box right at the top here, this is just basic demographic information. So to the left, you'll see here's where your name will be. Here is where your birthday, ID number, and then parent name will be. Your address will be on here too. And then over here to the right, this is the school of record information. So of course, West Seattle High School is where you're coming from. And then this area in the middle here, this will note your graduation date. And then this grade point table right here shows you how letter grades equate into numbers. So an A is 4 points, for example, a B is 3, a C is 2. We'll go over this in more detail in a minute when you see how to calculate your GPA, but that is the GPA scale. If you were curious, it's actually right here on the transcript up here. So that's what you will see in this gray box at the top, and then below that, this area on the transcript contains a list of all schools that you've ever attended. So for this student, looks like mostly West Seattle. I think he took maybe 1 or 2 classes online too, but for the most part, only West Seattle. Keep in mind your transcript only includes grades from high school. We can add grades from middle school to your official transcript, but we very rarely do that, usually only in cases where you need the credits for graduation. So only contains grades from high school freshman year on, only contains final grades, so final semester 1 grades. Right below that, this course designation key, this is just the course designations right here in the right-hand column. This is how you can decode those and see what those letters mean. Okay, so scrolling down to the academic records. So here is where you will see a complete listing of all of your final grades you've ever earned. So for this student, starting with 9th grade, the first grade that most of you will probably already have on your transcript is that you've completed Washington State history, because as a freshman, most of you should have had this class in 8th grade. It's a graduation requirement. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But Washington State history is likely already on your transcripts, but the good news for all of you is that is likely the only grade on there. It is not yet January. You do not yet have final semester 1 grades appearing. So on this transcript, you'll see the first grades that were ever recorded were in January of 2014. That was his freshman year. Here's all the classes he took freshman year. All of his grades did pretty good, mostly A's, A minuses, a B plus in bio, it looks like. And you'll see the grades are right here. The credit earned is next to that, and then the credit attempted is in this column, and then of course the course designation. So a lab science, if it counts as tech prep, again the designation keys at the top. So here is a listing of all of the grades from first semester freshman year, and then of course second semester freshman year. The student did pretty good as a freshman, it looks like, had a pretty strong GPA. Moving on down, sophomore took his first AP class ever and did reasonably well there. Struggled with honors chemistry, it looks like. And moving on down, second semester sophomore year, looks like this student maybe dropped down to regular chemistry for the rest of their sophomore year. Struggled a little bit the end of sophomore year. So again, colleges might kind of notice that and want to know what was going on during this time. Was there something personal maybe? Because there's a clear slip in grades here. Could have been challenging courses too, but so spring semester sophomore year, and then actually this service learning grade is showing up here. It looks like this student finished their service learning requirement as a junior. So that's kind of showing up right there. And then moving on down to 11th grade, took some more AP classes, took pre-calculus, another PE. Over here on the right, we see AP US History. So a pretty challenging junior year schedule, right? Multiple AP classes, pre-calculus, and then looks like junior year, the student did an online PE class. That's what that OOD stands for. It means out of district. And then senior year, kind of got back into the swing of things and had stronger grades, more A's, B's, and again, continued to challenge himself. As a senior, he was taking, it looks like 4 AP classes, which is no easy feat. So really, this student is a great example of someone who tried to challenge themselves year after year, took a lot of AP classes, a lot of honors classes. And again, this was a student who ended up getting into and is now attending Western Washington. So just to give you an idea of what kind of classes you should be taking if you are planning to go to a 4-year school, you'll want to be challenging yourself. All right, so basically in this whole area, you're seeing the grade breakdown by semester. You're seeing the list of courses. If we scroll down here, after the courses, you will see the GPA report period and cumulative summary. So basically what you're seeing here is your GPA broken down by each semester. And I think this gives you a really good idea of how much your GPA can fluctuate. If you look in this column all the way to the right, like we just talked about, this student started out really strong freshman year, had really great grades. Looks like they finished freshman year with a 3.7, and that rounds up to a 3.7. Freshman GPA. That's pretty good. That's above an honors GPA. That's impressive. GPA started to come down a little bit as we see sophomore year, got some C's and D's, slipped into like the 2s, and then again, grades kind of came up a little bit junior and senior year. And the student was able to come up to about a 2.9 by the end of their senior year. Let me make sure. Yeah, here we go. Down here at the bottom, though, this cumulative row, this is your overall cumulative GPA. So we recalculate GPA at the end of every semester. So the end of every semester is a chance, or I'm sorry, the beginning of every semester is a chance to start over again, right? Because we're going to recalculate your GPA. Of course, this is all cumulative, so based on every grade the student ever earned in all of his classes, he finished high school with a 3.04 overall cumulative GPA. This is what colleges were looking at when they were evaluating him for admission. Pretty good GPA. Could be a little bit higher in my opinion, especially given this student's academic aptitude in the classes they were taking, but above a 3.0 it isn't bad. So that will designate your overall cumulative GPA right here. And then moving on down, the last thing you'll see on the transcript is the state graduation requirements. So for this student's graduating year, they had to meet state requirements in English, math, they had to complete their high school and beyond plan, and also pass Washington State history. So for you all, most of you should have Washington State history showing as met on your transcript even now. For English and math, nobody has met those standards yet. You guys won't even have a chance to do that until later on when you take the SBAC test. But you will need to meet minimum state standards in English and math in order to graduate. And then finally, this high school and beyond plan, that's exactly what we are doing in advisory this year and in the years to come. So if you're doing all of the activities in advisory on the high school and beyond plan checklist, you are meeting that requirement. And senior year, we review them all. We make sure you've completed all of the activities. And if you have, you meet that requirement. So these are the requirements for this class. For last year's senior class, years of course might be a little bit different, but you'll be able to see at the bottom of the transcript what you have met and what you still need to meet each year. So again, what I want you all to take away from this is the good news is you guys have not yet had any final grades. You don't have a transcript. You have maybe one grade from Washington State history. You have plenty of time to improve and make this transcript the best it can be for a couple years down the road when you're applying to college.